Statman, on a level, you could be the greatest individual in football history.
We are back with another video. Listen, everyone's back together, innit? Biz is back. Ty is back. What are we saying?
And Ronaldo is gone. Lovely.
This guy. What are we saying though?
Nah, it's good, man. But you know what? Well, I love your background as well. World Cup fever. Manchester United go into the break with 3 points. Manchester City don't. We're in the top 4 hunt. Ten Hag's cooking. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm glad to see our faces back together, man. I'm happy we're on the sheet, man. Big up.
Biz.
Yeah.
What are we saying?
Happy to be back, man. Obviously, that last-minute winner on Sunday, Garnacho. You get me someone that... Actually, me and Bains have been on the Garnacho hype for a bit now. So.
But we've also criticised him as well compared to
of course. Obviously, he's still got a long way to go in his development. But yeah, it was just a nice feeling, innit? And a nice way to end the Premier League, obviously, before we go to the World Cup, man. And yeah, I'm ready for the World Cup now.
Were you lot vexed, by the way? Were you lot, like, when it got to the 89th minute, were you thinking, why have we dropped points?
Yes, I was so vexed. But I wanted to punch McTominay, that header from outside the box. What are you thinking?
I remember that, man. Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. And then Bruno had one like 5 minutes later. And I'm thinking, just fucking chest it down, bro, and shoot. Man tried to head it.
I was getting vexed, man. Thinking, Man City dropped points, Chelsea lost. I was like, we always do this. We always do this.
And because what we saying, we were missing Wan-Bissaka.
I am a bit, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I am. Obviously, Dalot's done his thing. He's changed my mind completely on him. But he just needs a rest, innit? You can see the last few games, man. He was looking leggy as hell, man. And AWB could have just come in and, especially fucking Malacia on Sunday. He was just
I felt sorry for him. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I know he's out of position, but Bains, that was him and Elanga on the right was painful to watch.
Yeah,
painful.
I think we all knew how that game was going to go, though, kind of thing, innit?
Yeah.
Like, last year, I don't get onto him because I'm like, how can I really blame you? If that makes sense.
No, fair enough.
But overall, listen, big game up kind of thing, innit? Still have to do a
shit.
shift.
Do you reckon AWB's done then?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Like, we need a right back, though. We need a right back. Like, we can't let him go and not get one in. I'm only letting him go if we get someone in. I'd rather have Wan-Bissaka for 6 months and then let him go if we don't get a right back.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know, you know, because the reason in terms of January, because Ronaldo's going, Ronaldo's contract is getting terminated. You need a striker as well, or someone that can play it.
I can't lie. I'd rather get a right back in than get a striker in. That's me.
I don't know.
I'm a right.
You can't rely on.
I'd rather Martial and Rashford just do their thing for 5 months without Dalot having to play Europa League, Carabao, FA Cup. We're going Bains. You know, Ten Hag doesn't really rotate. We're going for everything he can get his hands on.
Yeah, but the thing is, we can't rely on Martial either. I'd rather sort our forward line up in terms of, listen, you paid the big money for the strikers kind of thing, innit? Right, like I've always said it. In my eyes, you can always get away with the fullbacks to an extent.
After Sunday?
Did we win?
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't know, like, no matter what, we need both. We literally need both.
I think, we need both, but realistically, I don't think we're going to get a big strike in January. And I think after that one game of Dalot, right back, I think we can see the problems massively that we can't risk even. What if Dalot gets injured and pulls his fire for 6 weeks? We are finished.
But who's that more likely going to happen to? Martial or Dalot?
Yeah, but the Rashford cover's cool. I'd rather have Rashford coming as a deputy than have Malacia play a right back.
The left-hand side as well then.
But then Sancho will come in, Garnacho. We've got more depth there for 5 months. I
don't know, man.
You know what? It's a good poll. If you could run a poll, honestly, I'm right back over striker after Sunday, man. I couldn't do it.
I'll be honest, no matter what, we need both.
But
I think, you know what's going to be interesting? I think it depends what happens with the Cody Gakpo situation. I've always said it. He's the only January signing I said we could make. I'm not confident elsewhere.
Bains is gone.
But anyway, listen, let's get to the main...
He's back.
And let's get to the main thing of the video. We're doing like a player rating thing. But the way we're doing this player rating is going to be on expectations on how we thought these players would do at the start of the season. If that makes sense. Like, it's probably easier to like explain or like follow on while we're doing it kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the top one is player of the season. We're going to leave that to the end. And the bottom one's disappointment of the season. We're going to leave that to the end. The other three are above expectations, meeting expectations and below expectations on how we thought they would have done under Erik Ten Hag.
Okay.
But I make sure you guys like the video.
Yeah. Wait, but is Bains
First one,
Bains bugging out a bit, you know?
Yeah, you are lagging a
Am I
bit.
actually?
Too.
Yeah. I didn't even know what you said there. Like, you literally just said, all I heard for 5 seconds was, am I actually?
I don't know. Am I back?
Yeah. You're back now. Yeah.
Calm. David Hale. How you start?
Okay, we're going through the teams. Yeah, back to front. Okay, we're not messing about. Oh, do you know what? Yeah, this is actually a tough one because David De Gea, if I'm thinking of like players that I thought Ten Hag would want to replace as quick as possible, I'm going to be real with you. I love David De Gea for what he's done over the years, but I thought he might be one of the ones that's going to be surplus to requirements just because he's not that great on the ball and he's not that commanding of his area. And also, he's not very good at playing rush keeper, where you see keepers now that at the edge of the box intercepting balls. Remember when Dean Henderson came in against that Tottenham game away and he was doing that? I was like, oh my God, De Gea doesn't do that. I don't rate Henderson, but he didn't do that, De Gea. But I have to say that even though De Gea is like 31 years of age, I actually think this season he's been good this season. Yes, he might have made 1 or 2 errors. It's precious situations with the keepers. But for me, he's actually been above expectations in terms of what I expected when Ten Hag come in. He's made some big saves. I'm not going to say he's amazing with the ball at his feet, but the game against Tottenham at home, he was actually okay with the ball at his feet. And I'm like, do you know what? Fair play if you're trying to make adjustments. It's like Hugo Lloris. He's not that great with the ball at his feet. However, under Conte, you can see that he's trying. But De Gea is getting better at it. He's making big saves as usual. And, you know, I can't really fault him, to be honest. I'm never nervous really going into a game this season under Ten Hag. So I'm going to go above expectations on what I expected him and what I thought Ten Hag might do with him as well.
Biz?
I'm going to say meeting expectations just for the fact that, yeah, obviously the few mistakes at the start of the season, there has been a couple that I have questioned. I think the Villa game, he could have done better with the Bailey first goal. And there's been a few other ones, similar situations like that. But I do think he has developed a bit better with his distribution, but there's still a lot more room for improvement. So for me, it's just meeting expectation. I feel like he's no much better than what he was last season, to be fair.
Hey, that's harsh, you know. That's very harsh.
I don't think he's much better, to be fair, man. I think he was facing a lot more like attacking from last season from opposition. So obviously he had a lot more to do, but I don't think he's any better than what he has.
I don't think Biz is wildly wrong in what he's saying, Bains. Like if I had to say that, do I think Biz has got a good point? I think Biz is making good points. So when you think of De Gea's like whole tenure at United, if he's a top keeper like he has been at United for years and people are putting him in top 5, then maybe these are the basic things you would expect, like Biz is saying. So Biz is kind of swaying me a bit now, but I'm like, oh.
I got him above expectation.
Okay, yeah.
I thought De Gea was literally going to be struggling one of the worst players at United on Erik Ten Hag kind of thing, innit? Because initially I was like, what does he have that a Ten Hag keeper should have in terms of being good on the ball, coming out? But you know what?
When you say above expectations, so are you saying that is this the best De Gea you've seen?
Yeah. In
Really?
terms of being that modern day keeper.
Okay.
But that's because my expectations for De Gea were very, very low going into the season.
Okay, fair enough.
Where I went with above. Do you know what though? I think that's one of the tightest calls that I think we started with, like, you know what I mean? A tough one here. I'm gonna go above, like you said, Bains, but Biz is definitely like valid with his points. Like it's a tough one, man. You muted yourself. Oh no, you're not. You're back. You're back.
Next one, the controversial one,
Victor.
the one that actually had a good game the other day.
This is him all over though. It's just meeting expectations with him, to be fair. Meeting expectations. He's gonna have out of 10 games, he'll have 5 or 6 good games, and then he'll have 4 stinkers. And
this guy's harsh, you know.
He's not good enough, man. Let's just be real, innit? Like if we want to be title contenders, Victor Lindelof is not going to be the guy. Literally sitting next to Lisandro or Varane, he's not the guy.
Hi.
Bro, me and you had done a big debate on Lindelof last week, and your people Your people were with me, but I'm not going to bring that up again. For me, Lindelof is just Lindelof. If you're wanting to be, competing for titles, like Biz said, he's not going to be the guy. But if you're looking for a fourth choice centre back that can be behind Martinez, Varane, another centre back, and then Lindelof, then cool, I can run with that. But for me, I said it loud and clear. Maguire and Lindelof, for me, are not good enough. It's the same simple mistakes that we're seeing. We're seeing the same strikers bully them. We're seeing Lindelof never going for tackles, doing the same jockeying business. I just think for certain games, he's okay, when obviously we're going to dominate the ball and he's not up against a physical striker. But for me, Victor Lindelof is he's just okay. And I don't think he's really improved a lot since he come here. I'm going to say meeting expectations, just because I don't think he's been, oh my God, shockingly horrendous, but I also don't think he's had any great games. I just think what Lindelof gives us is what Lindelof gives us, and he's a fourth choice centre-back. I don't think he's good enough for Man United. I think in the next year or 2 years, he won't be at the club anymore.
I don't know about that, but I do agree with the meeting expectation thing. I think he should be solid. As Victor Lindelof, who you normally 6, 7 out of 10.
Do you think he's actually been
He's going to have the odd game where he has stinker. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because for me, he never really does. Other than the Aston Villa game, has he really put a massive foot wrong this season?
Nah, but for me, he's solid.
But then he's had a couple of moments where it's like, I think that Omnio away, when we conceded the second goal, when he just, again, out of position for no reason.
I can't even remember the Europa League.
I think solid is different to okay, see? I think he's been okay, but solid means like, you're thinking a centre-back solid, you're like, yeah, you know, every game, yeah, he's solid. Like, solid is different to okay, Bains. That's why I'm challenging you. I don't think he's been solid.
Like, solid for me, he doesn't really put a foot wrong kind of thing, innit? We're going to get on to the next one. Martinez.
Yeah, you're clever. Man, just quickly moved it on, you know.
No, because I was going to, use him, innit? He's been, different gravy for me kind of thing, innit? There's levels kind of thing. And I think Martinez has shown Lindelof levels.
He's shown all of our centre-back levels, potentially apart from Varane. But I'd love to give him player of the season so far, man. I think he's been sensational, man. I don't think he's had But even with the City game, we lost 6 goals, we conceded 6. Obviously, the Brentford game, we conceded 4. None of them are really coming from. None of the mistakes are really happening around his perimeter. So for me, I think he's been sensational, man. A breath of fresh air. Obviously, a lot of people have been targeting him over his height presence and stuff, but literally that guy he can read the game. You know what I'm saying? His recovery pace, he's great on the ball, he's got a great distribution. Can't fault him, man. He's been a great signing so far.
I love Martinez. Yeah, man. I love Martinez. I'm going to say above expectations. I knew he was a very good player. Or I knew he was a good player and had really good potential, especially the passing through the lines. That was a big thing. I think when I watched him, the first 30 minutes, his passing through the lines in the first 30 minutes was brilliant. I was like, this reminds me of Daily Blind, but actually include the physicality and the aggressiveness. I think he's a unique profile. I think he's been very good this season. He's meeting above expectations based on obviously what the pundits were saying about him. A lot of people were doubting his height. He's actually proved a lot of people wrong with that aspect. And also I feel like he's proved Man United fans wrong in terms of, he's not given us anything to worry about. He's come in and he's kind of surprised us. That's what I want to say. Not that, oh my God, we didn't think he's going to be good. But he's actually surprised everyone how good he's been. So above expectations. And with his age, right, of 24, 25 years of age, the best is actually yet to come. And that's what excites me the most. When defenders come into the Premier League, they normally don't even peak until their second, third, fourth season when they're actually adjusting fully. He's going to be amazing, man.
Would you say he's player of the season? Because Biz said that. I've got him player of the season so far.
I think it's hard to disagree with that right now.
Okay, let's just put him in player of the season. Because how can you not love the guy?
I love him. I know. His mentality as well, he breathes a lot of what our fans are breathing. Like he's into it. He's bought into it, and I love that.
Tyro Malacia.
You start with this one, Bains.
I've got him meeting expectation. He's had a couple games where I think he struggled. He's had a couple games where I think you've done well, and I think that's kind of what I expected for a young player coming into a new country. It was always going to be difficult for him to kind of be number one above Luke Shaw. because I've always said I still think Luke Shaw's a very good footballer. Question his mentality all you want. And I think, listen, he's at that stage in his development where I'm relatively happy with Malacia. As much as I go on to him after a couple of games saying, yo, he needs to be benched, rightly so, Ten Hag clearly agreed. He had a game against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. I thought that was his best game going forward. But I think overall, just meeting expectation.
Yeah, I liked his game against Aston Villa, by the way. In the Carabao Cup, I actually thought he was really impressive last week. And I would say meeting expectations as well, especially when you look at Malacia and 13 million is what he cost. You put the cost to the age and to him, I think he's been bang on about meeting expectations. And when you think about it as well, I don't want to it feels like it was time ago. Me and Biz were watching the game together, but Man United Liverpool, to come in for your first game and a debut against Liverpool at home, Old Trafford, when we've lost 2 games in a row, is no easy feat. I'd probably say there's only a couple of games that match that. Liverpool are huge rivals to us. So to come in and put the performance that he did up against someone like Mo Salah as well, you can't forget performances like that. So for me, meeting expectations, because he's raw, but we can see the growth in him, hopefully.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, obviously, I'm definitely going to say meeting expectations as well, because just like mirroring what Statman Bains was saying, like him coming from a different country at the age of 21 can't be easy. And you're coming to play for Manchester United, and Manchester United that's desperate to get back to being at its best. So, like you said, his debut was literally been thrown in at the deep end against Liverpool of all teams, and he literally passed the test. And yeah, obviously there was games like obviously the Arsenal game against Saka. It didn't really go his way. There's been other performances where it's been a hit and miss, but it's still a long way to go in it. He's still got a few years of development, and I think that Ten Hag's perfect for him. Obviously, they got the Dutch connection, and so far so good, man. Obviously, he had a good game. Obviously, I think he's done quite well to bounce back after being dropped. You know, some players will probably drop their heads and that, but
he keeps good spirits. You see him training and that he's always happy. And
yeah.
I like his mentality, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a good mentality. So yeah, so far.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? That comment's true. Big up, Matt, because when you look at it, was Alex Telles who was the substitute coming in. I'm much more happy with Malacia, so that says a lot, man.
Does it really though?
No,
No,
because we know Telles isn't that great, but the bottom line is 12 months ago, Telles was the second choice, so we can only talk about our squad. And Malacia coming in, for sure, I'm never like, do you know what? Like, if Malacia started in our next first league game back against Forest, I'm not gonna stress. Whereas if Telles playing, I'm always a bit like, do you know?
I think when you deep it now, I can't even really say he's second choice or first choice. Same thing with Luke Shaw. I think they're both just there to just compete with each other for that spot.
Yeah,
fair. This was interesting now, thinking of it. Varane. Because obviously the injuries have been slightly frustrating, but going into the season, did we really expect anything different considering his injury last year?
He's back. What did you say, Bains?
I said, like you see on Varane, did we expect anything different regarding injuries when we looked at his injury record last year?
This is hard, you know.
I'd say he is meeting expectations this season. I think last season definitely below expectations. Like his performances weren't bad, but obviously the injury thing was just really annoying, isn't it? So this season, obviously he's got injury, but you can see he was really, really down by it. So like, I think last season when he was injured, it was almost like, whatever, innit? I'll just come back whatever soon, innit? I don't feel like he pushed himself. I feel right this time now, when he came off against Chelsea, you could see it, like, it really hurt him, innit? Because he feel like he's starting to build something with him and Martinez. But I feel like so far this season, what we've seen, we're definitely getting our money's worth, and for me, meeting expectations.
Yeah, I love Varane. I'm gonna be real with you. I love Varane as a player. I've always loved him. I'm actually gutted for him because I actually think he's been very good when he's played this season. I'm going to be real with you. I know Martinez is taking the standout plaudits, and I understand it, obviously, because he's been available, like Dan says there. Obviously, availability is a question. But when Martinez and Varane have played together, I'm never looking at Martinez and thinking you've been much better than Varane. I think they're both very good in different ways. And I think aerially, right, when we've had teams playing against us, lumping long balls and stuff like that, the recovery of our play has been brilliant, and that's due to Varane. Like when other teams have had the ball, even like Fulham this week and stuff, we take quite a while. We let them dominate in spells and stuff. But I feel like with Varane, when he plays, I feel like he reads the game, or the way we press up and stuff, we get the ball back quicker with someone like Varane in the side. And I think aerially, he's been brilliant. So for me, I'm not going to put above expectations because I think he's world class. I'm going to put meeting expectations because he's not been as fit as I want him to. But, boy, I'm saying that if we could keep Varane and Martinez fit after the World Cup, we have one of the best partnerships at central defence in world football.
You know what it is here with Varane? I don't think he's better on the ball than Lindelof or even like Harry Maguire to an extent, but you see how quick Varane gets rid of the ball, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is much better than those two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in certain games you can kind of see, yeah, we need that. Just get rid of it kind of thing at the back. Just move the ball forward.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Varane does very, very well. But yeah, I've been relatively happy with him. I can't even complain.
Yeah.
He's
You know what?
really
Let me quickly answer this. See that comment? See the comment from Matt 623, right? I want to explain that obviously this show what Bains is doing is on about expectations before the season started, where we think they'll be. Like, I'll be honest with you, Varane has been better than De Gea for me. When they've played, Varane has been better. So when you see De Gea and above expectations of Varane meeting, it doesn't mean that we think De Gea is better. I just want to make that clear because people can get misconstrued in it.
Yeah. Dalot. Let's start with Biz.
It's gonna have to be above expectations, man, for real, bro. I did not rate this guy. Even when he went to Milan, I didn't see the hype. I just felt like his reading of the game was shocking at a point, and like this season, man, he shut me up completely. I hold my hands up. My bad. My bad. Literally, he has stepped up so much, man. Like defensively, that West Ham performance the other week, man of the match performance for me. I thought Rashford only got it because of the goal and obviously the 85th anniversary of graduated development players from the academy. But I feel like those three headers that away from Antonio on the back post was brilliant, man. And how many times have we seen Wan-Bissaka get caught out in those situations? And Dalot literally like stepping his game up, and even going forward as well. He's chipping in with some assists now. He's getting some goals as well. I can't fault him, man. He has actually been a breath of fresh air this season.
Biz, what do you think about this comment here?
Nah, not yet. Not yet.
Who have you got above him in terms of form? Because I got Trippier and Ben White above him.
Yeah, they're the mine too.
Yeah, I was about
Trippier and Ben White.
Yeah.
Ty, Dalot.
I think above expectations. I'll be honest with you. Pre-season, for me, top three players in pre-season, him, Sancho and Martial. He's not only been fit all season, but he's progressed as the season's gone on. Ten Hag's talking about him in terms of his positional sense, able to come in centrally when we're on the ball. I can't really fault him, to be honest. I think the only place I'd say that he needs to improve on, and I might be being harsh, I think is his final ball into the box. I think when he gets down the byline, I do think some of his final balls can be better. But if that's my improvement for him, then I think that will improve because it's his first season playing as a proper right back. So naturally, I don't expect him to be the most complete crosser. But for me, Diogo Dalot's listening. He's taking in positions. He's physical. He's fast. His defensive ability has improved 1v1. We look at the Danjuma game last year in the Champions League. Absolutely got cooked. But this year, he's been much stronger in terms of 1v1 ability. I think the game he struggled in the most was Jack Grealish because he got a yellow card early on, I'll be honest. But that's one game. But other than that, I think Dalot's been good. And he's definitely meeting above expectations because I don't think anyone was kind of comfortable with our right-back situation going into this season. But Dalot's shut us up, which I'm glad to hear, man, and see.
And this is another thing as well. He hasn't missed a game this year. Because remember there was a point where we looked at Dalot's injury record a couple of years ago and was like, are you always available? Like around the 18, 19, 19, 20 season kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's above expectations.
He's above expectations. Do you think, quickly, just before we move on, do you, man, think, I know we're going to get another right back, say in a year or two to come, but do you think Dalot will be when we're playing the Cities or Liverpool and you have to pick your best right back? Do you think Dalot will be our best right back for the next 3-4 years? Do you guys think that?
Depends who we sign. Because if it's Malo Gusto, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I think that's a bit of a long way to look at the moment. But
yeah, it's hard.
For the time being, he's definitely our first choice right back. I'll say definitely till the end of the season, or if January, depending on who we approach.
Yeah.
Because I think that say we sign even like a Frimpong, that's good competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think then it kind of becomes like the left back thing where it's like whoever starts, we're not really going to complain.
Yeah, that's what you want to be able to rotate and you just win everything each week. Try and win everything as you can together. Look at the games we've had, 2-3 games in a week sometimes, man.
Left back, Luke Shaw. This is going to be interesting.
I'm actually I'm not even gonna say above expectations. I'm gonna say meeting expectations, to be honest. I like Luke Shaw. I'm a fan of Luke Shaw. And I think as the season's got on, he's got better. I think he had a rocky start. I'm not going to get it twisted. He had a rocky start. So did Maguire. So did a few other players. But for me, the bounce back, the mentality, he's not really been injured either, which he always gets them little injuries under Mourinho, under Solskjaer and stuff like that. I think Luke Shaw, actually, for me, is when he's playing on the top of his game, he's easily top 3, top 4 left backs in the league. I don't care what people say. I actually think he's very good on his day. So I've been impressed with the bounce back. He's had a few mental battles already early on with Ten Hag, and he seems to be enjoying himself again. So yeah, man, I'm gonna say meeting expectations, because above expectations for me would be like he's not been dropped this year. He's been solid throughout. He's obviously had the rocky start, but for me, I do think Luke Shaw is a very good player. But for me, meeting expectation, because I think he's a good player. So damn right, he should be playing good.
Yeah, do you know, I agree with you on that. The only thing that worries me about Luke Shaw is the fact that he did this on the back end of, I think, 2021 season, when he actually had a good end to the season, went to the Euros, had the Euros of his life, scoring in the final, and then came back and obviously like kind of threw it all in the bin. So I have a feeling he's going to do well at the World Cup this year again. But is he going to come back with the same hunger, or is it just going to be thrown in the bin once again? That's the only thing that worries me about him is determination to keep going.
So what do you think, Biz? Do you think then, like, say if England won it, everyone's going to come back on a high, like, cool. But do you feel like he suffers, like, say if England go out like in the quarters or semis in a harsh way, him as a person, do you feel like it affects him more than it affects some other players?
Yeah, it probably did, you know. Obviously, he lost the Europa League final and the Euros as well, back to back within about a month or so. So I'm guessing that definitely did play definitely played a part. But I'd obviously, as a professional footballer, you kind of expect to just keep going in it, especially when you're at a team like Man United and you're playing for England. You need to just keep your levels high in it, because as we've seen in it, we've seen some big name players not make the England squad, and it's just for the fact of they're just not keeping up to the levels, you know. So yeah, maybe obviously he might suffer, you know.
I'll be honest, I'm a bit more confident that Luke Shaw will be fine just because of Malacia. I feel like Malacia is the guy to keep Luke Shaw on his toes. And he has a manager in Ten Hag where he's shown, there's no such thing as English bias now. That Eric Bailly complained about before. If Luke Shaw drops, Malacia is coming in. And Malacia, we know, has shown he will fight. Even though he might not have as much quality as Shaw, he will fight. Which is why, listen.
It's interesting. It's going to be interesting with the Luke Shaw contract situation as well, because he wants like a 5-year deal, but he's 27 now.
Do you think he gets it?
He's 28 in July, you know.
Crazy, bro. He's been in for a minute.
He gets a new contract, though. I think he does.
I'd give him 4 years, man, but not 5.
Biz?
I don't know if I suppose.
I like Luke Shaw, man. I do like Luke Shaw, you know. I do.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one with Luke Shaw.
You know what? If you give him 4 years, if you give him 4 years, then he doesn't do great in the first 2. You can still ship him out at 29 for a good little bit of money. You know what I mean?
We'll probably recruit back the money, to be fair, because what do we get for 30?
Yeah.
So more than likely, we will recruit back the money for him. So I suppose, 4-year contract kind of makes sense. It's just lengthy, though, isn't it? But
yeah.
This is going to be an interesting one. Fred. Because let's not lie, he had a good game against Tottenham, but the rest of his games, stinky. But how high did you rate Fred before?
Not that high. What
do you expect from Fred, in it? Like when he's on, you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna say Fred's a bad player, because I've always been an advocate for Fred, but I think Fred has to be played in like certain games and certain roles. So when he came on against Arsenal and we're like
Changed
fighting
the
and you need
game.
that mobility,
Changed
like he
the game.
changed the game when he came on, and I got to give him his flowers against Tottenham, biting, getting the ball back, winning it, pinching it against Chelsea. He was trying to do his little thing. I always feel like in big games, right? It's so funny.
Yeah,
I feel
Liverpool
like
at home as well, man. He come on and
yeah,
change
man,
the
like
game.
Liverpool at home. I feel like when he's in big games, that's the type of game he thrives in because it's his energy. He's like chaotic in there, but he's effective. But when you're playing games that you dominate the ball, you want to break
Newcastle
him
game.
down. Yeah, Fred isn't that guy. So I feel like Fred is actually valuable to the squad because he's a unique profile, but you can't play him in certain games. I feel like he meets expectations because in some big games he's performed, but then in some games that you know he's not going to perform, he hasn't really performed. So if there was a tier in between below and meeting, that's where Fred would go for me. Oh, like Rajat says. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I thought Fred was better than this. And I don't even rate Fred that highly.
But he starts for Brazil, so you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but like, come on, man. I don't really take into consideration.
Now I know, but you're saying obviously you thought he's better than this, of course. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised either. If he starts for Brazil, you got to be all right. Think of Brazil,
but
man.
I'll be honest, he's had a couple like stinkers. Like, I'm not even talking bad performance. I'm talking stinkers.
What was the last game? He was horrific.
Kind of thing. Aston Villa.
Him and
first half.
McTominay. Was it him and McTominay in the first half
Aston
against
Villa
Villa?
first half.
Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So many times you're thinking just make the final pass and they just like overthink it. And by the time they make a pass, someone's already offside. I see Rashford making runs after runs after runs after runs
Even
until he just
Martial,
Martial as well, until they just get frustrated and they stop
Mm.
because they're just not getting the early passes. And that does come down to Fred and obviously McTominay as well. But
And this year, like, if we like, for me, wait, what are we saying on Fred? By the way, I got him below. You too.
like I
He's
said,
more-
I've never really had a high expectations for him. So
Yeah,
it's
man,
kind of
that's-
meeting. It really is in between the
yeah,
meeting and
it
below.
really is in between, Bains. I've never had the high expectations for him, but I also know that in certain games he's valuable, and he's been valuable in the games I thought he'd be in, and he's been crap in the games I thought he'd be crapping.
Listen. I'm seeing more below in the comments, kind of thing, innit?
Now go with them then. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we'll go
with them.
below.
Okay, below.
Yeah.
This
Do you
one,
think? Just 1 second. Do you think this is Fred's probably last season at United?
don't rate him.
Yeah,
I
I think he'll
it
be out
might
the
be,
door
you know.
for summer.
And his contract runs out in it.
Oh, yeah. I think he's out the door.
Yeah, he's off.
I'll be honest, I'll be happy if he goes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, he's up to that.
You know what? He'll be all right, man. Another Premier League mid-table club or Turkey or Italy, man.
You know where I say with Fred, yeah? Look at Everton's midfield around like Onana, like Idris Garnegay, those high pressing midfielders.
Mm.
Does he start for them
Yes.
instead of who?
Well, it's a Wobie, a Nana, and Gay, innit? Oh, I don't think Fred probably actually worse on the ball than them lots, so probably he doesn't actually.
Yeah, so like, I don't get me wrong. I think he gets a Premier League move if he wants to stay in this country, but I don't think it's going to be like very high.
Nah, nor do I.
To be honest, I don't think he starts for anyone in the top 10.
Top 10.
I think he does.
I don't know, man. I have to think about it.
You know what? He actually might be all right at someone like Fulham, you know. Him and Polina in there.
Someone's at Fulham right here.
Oh, my days. Yeah.
Yeah, but would you not worry about that on the ball then?
Nah, I think Polina's all right on the ball. And then you get it and you get Fred with his energy and his legs next to him. Speaks Portuguese, Andres Pereira. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think, yeah, I could imagine him. It was Tom Kearney in there this week.
Yeah.
I think like he could play in there. Do you know what I'm saying?
You never know. This one's going to be interesting. Scott McTominay.
Oh, I hate him, man.
No, you might hate him. Hey, this is going to sound mad, and I'm not defending this guy. Going into this season, I thought he was crap, and there was no way to survive on day 10. He had a spell, like from the Liverpool game onwards, where I was like, raw. What's 10 done with this guy? He's actually been all right, kind of thing, isn't it? So I'm going to leave it there. You don't answer first.
Why? Guys, set this up, bro. Wheel us in.
Of course.
Comments. Help us out with this one.
This is a scary one because I want to do it, but boy, the backlash might be peak.
Go on.
Nah, you go first.
Man! Wait, babe, you can't do that.
I'll be honest.
Fuck it, I'll go first. Above expectations, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's had a fairly decent season so far. He has had some games where it's been some stinkers, but for the majority, like Bain said, that spell after the Brentford game, right up until the probably City game, he was one of the best players in the team, bro. Bro, Casemiro couldn't get in. Casemiro couldn't get in, bro. Let's be real.
I forgot that period, to be fair, because I feel like that was so long ago now, and Casemiro's done his thing.
The Southampton away, Leicester away.
Biz, why above expectations? Really, like above expectations.
Listen, McTominay, who rated him going into this season?
Oh, you're backing him, Bains?
Hey, don't come for me. Don't come for me yet. But who rated Scott McTominay at the start of the season?
No, none of us. If we had our own choice, but we would have sold it.
Nah, you lot, calm down, man. He's not been that great on the ball. He does a couple up and down box to box runs and that.
But
he's not been above expectations. Listen. He's never, apart from the game, I think 1 or 2 games, maybe the Arsenal game, he was quite good in. I'll be honest with you, at home. But be honest, man. He's not been that great, man. Since Casemiro's come in, you're like, whoa, McTominay can't come back in this side. That shows you we were just accepting that McTominay was an average player and he was doing okay.
No, exactly. So we're judging it from McTominay standards, by the way. We're not judging it by Casemiro standards.
Yeah, he's meeting expectations. He's done nothing that I didn't think he couldn't really do.
No, but he had a spell here where I was like, you know what? You were clearly decent. I didn't think you would be decent under Erik Ten Hag.
No, I don't really dislike a player. I don't really dislike a player, but I really don't like McTominay. I think he's standard. He's okay. He's quite physical. He's an okay squad player, but he can't survive in this Manchester United team moving forward. And do you know what? As the season's gone on, I feel like he's regressing. He's getting worse. He started off okay. He's on a downward spiral. Yeah, Others are on the upward spiral.
But
got him. I got him.
No, but he did. No, but this is what me and Biz are saying. He had like a 6-7 game spell, what it felt like, where we looked at Scott McTominay and you were like, you know what, he deserves to start. Like, remember when people complaining that Casemiro wasn't starting? We all said McTominay deserved to start at that point because he was playing.
I hear you.
And the fact that we said McTominay was playing well is a massive rah. No one thought that would happen.
I put him in above, then that's 2-1, man. I can't believe it.
I can't believe this either, you know.
First time us man are back on together, I knew something was gonna happen. I knew it.
And this year, I'm not saying, by the way, Biz is definitely not saying this either. We're not saying McTominay's United standard. We're saying our expectations going into the start of the season were extremely low because of how crap he is.
Let's move on.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh my god!
He's above Rafa Varane.
The fact that you two can't believe you're doing. The fact that you two can't believe you're doing it tells me everything. Donny van der Beek, put him in the bottom row.
Quickly, someone said I rate him more than Fred. I'm the opposite. I rated Fred more than McTominay.
Yeah, I rate Fred more. Yeah,
I rate Fred more.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's come to a shock to me because McTominay's outperformed Fred literally every single game. You could argue.
Yeah. I agree with that. I've rated Fred more, to be honest. I feel sorry for doing this. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna have to put Donny van der Beek in disappointment of the season. I'm actually.
Do you know what? It's
below expectation.
No, do you know why I put him in disappointment of the season? Just because.
Just quickly, so you're gonna say we're only saying one player for each category here. In disappointment of the season, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, put him in below expectations. Okay, yeah, below expectations. Just because I know that there's a player in there. Like, no discredit to obviously other players like McTominay and Fred who are more used to the Premier League and that. But Van der Beek's better than players than them, I think. But physically and the mobile wise and the intensity, he's not really showing it. Like, I feel like in games, he's clever with his movement and finding space, but sometimes he doesn't find the ball. And I feel sorry for him sometimes, actually, to be fair, because he doesn't find the ball or players don't find him so much. It makes him look worse. But I still feel like when he's on the ball, one big thing for me in our midfield that we miss is ball carriers. And he's the least ball carrier in this team. Like, he gets the ball and he passes it 1-2 touch. And I just don't think that fits what we're doing right now because we're not a Ten Hag team right now. We're playing still on the counter-attack sometimes. We're playing in spells, but he's not fitting into it right now. So it's a big year for him. I think this next 6 months with Europa League, Carabao, FA Cup, he will get his chances. He's had injuries this season, so I'm disappointed on that side of it because he would have had a game time in October. But let's see what he can do the next 6 months, man. I'm just disappointed. Obviously, we signed him for 34 million, and I can't think of a game where I'm like, yeah, Donny van de Beek too much. Do you know what I mean? Apart from Everton away in the Carabao Cup when Cavani scored, I think that was.
Only 2 games.
Yeah.
I think is it Istanbul at home as well.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I just feel like he needs to do more, man. He's not really giving the manager a headache or saying start me. So below expectations.
You know, I agree, but at the same time, I do feel like he's only had a run of games of I think three games in a row, which is obviously Sociedad, Villa, and actually did he come on Sunday?
Nah,
he
didn't even come on Sunday. So yeah, he's only had 3 games in a row where I feel like he needs probably a good 7 to 10 where I can actually fully judge him and say, right, is he a United player or is he not? So
okay, let me ask you this, please. In those 3 games, did you see anything from Donny van de Beek?
No,
that you're like,
not really.
You're better than
Not
Bruno
really.
or something?
No, not really. Not at all. Not at all, man. Like, I know people keep saying his positioning is great, but is it? I just don't see it, man. Like you said, there's no ball carrying. Even the final pass is not really great unless it's just a 5-yard pass to someone that's close to him. I haven't seen enough yet, but I do feel like I need to see more to give him a full judgment. Which hopefully, obviously, if he doesn't go in January, I think he will get a run of games.
Fairs. I agree, below expectation.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes. You start biz on this.
All right. Start of the season, I would have said below expectations because my expectations for Bruno are pretty high. You get me? Like, I know people will be like, oh, it's just numbers and numbers, but you get me? And them numbers there are valuable. But the last, I'd say, 6-7 games, I'm starting to see Bruno come back. And he's doing his thing. He's obviously going to be frustrating. He will give away possession in cheap areas and he will rush situations that he shouldn't. But for me, I say he's meeting expectations only just because I have high expectations for this guy. You get me? So
what? So you close to putting him in below?
Yeah, I was gonna have him in below because, his performances haven't been bad, but I want to see the goals and the assist numbers go up again, bro. You get me? I need them to go up, bro. Like that's what you're about, innit? Like people don't like that, but I love that about him, and I'm only seeing it happen in probably the last 5-6 games. So I say only just about meeting expectations.
Okay, yeah, fair.
What do you think about this point? Ty, you're going first, by the way. Okay. What do you think about this point? A lot of people said he wasn't going to fit into Ten Hag's system.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you thought about that at the start. I can't remember now, but...
I actually didn't have him really in my ideal 3 at the start of the season. I had more like Van der Beek, Eriksen and Casemiro like I'd want to try. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought on a Ten Hag system in terms of keeping the ball and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, one thing that stood out to me, I'm gonna put Bruno in meeting expectations, right? But I think there's more to come from him. And I get it. The frustrations like Biz said of giving the ball away and stuff like that, that's just going to happen because that's what Bruno is. He's a bit more of a risk taker. He's a high volume player. He runs around, obviously putting energy into the team and stuff like that. But when he didn't play right, I think me and Biz were together. He didn't play against Villa away in the league. Yeah. And when he didn't play right, I'm like, I miss Bruno. Like, I'm not saying we would have won the game. I'm not saying loads of things would have been different, Bains, but I just felt like our midfield just looked like it had no personality. And I think he has personality, and that's what I can't ever doubt him. He does have personality. He will frustrate, but he will delight at the same time. And I think that's what you're going to get with Bruno, man. And while you're a team right now, there isn't the full package, isn't the full article. You need everyone buying into it. You need people that can make a difference at times. I think Bruno can, I think Bruno is effective for us right now. I'd rather him be on the pitch than be off it based off what I've seen so far this season. At the start of the season, I would have been like, fine, do you know what? If he holds bench, he holds bench. I can understand that if Ten Hag wants to play his way. But when Bruno's played, he's been effective, man. Like he got the assist the other night for the goal against Eriksen as well, and I thought he was getting in some good little positions as well. So yeah, meeting expectations.
You think that the season's going on, Bruno's got better? Because that's how I think with Bruno.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
I think he's meeting expectations. Slow start, but he's coming into it now.
Yeah,
that's good though.
Yeah.
I want him coming into form when it matters, man. This January to April period, this is what I want.
Yeah, to be fair, Bruno should be competing for Player of the Season for me. That's the level of high I have for him. He should be competing every year, Player of the Season. But like I said, so far it's been a.
Do you know what,
start,
man? If we
but
can get, go on.
I think the main I think I know where you're gonna go with this one.
Yeah, bro. The main reason is
I'll
a
let you
certain
say.
guy behind Statman.
I was gonna mute you there for a second,
bro. Hey, listen, Bruno with Tony. Biz was about to say it. Bruno with Tony in the second half of the season, if they both stay fit, Bruno is a different player with Martial.
Yeah.
He is. He just is. I'm just sorry.
is he not a different player with Rashford up top as well? Or does that not fit the agenda?
No, that's fine. You could say that, but I think Bruno and Martial link up the best because Bruno can go beyond when Martial drops in, whereas Rashford's more the last man defender. He can't drop in. Rashford admits that he can't hold up the ball and do the link up. But Martial and Bruno, they just work well, man. I love to see it, and I can't wait to celebrate goals together, guys.
Well, so you haven't been celebrating Ronaldo goal so far?
Of course I have, but you
interesting.
know what I mean? We're going to be celebrating.
Hey, well, let me say
It's
something.
only been 2, Brad. So
Let me say something. Biz, you know how Ty is in the stats in the tunnel chat when Ronaldo misses a chance compared to when Martial misses a chance. You know, that's all I'm saying.
I have no clue. That must be, I don't know. My missus.
Certain people go missing when Martial misses chances. You know, you don't even reply to the messages. We'll get him kind of thing in it. Don't worry. I need the Jose meme saved right now, you know.
Oh, yeah. Andrew's killing me with that. Do you know what? Just the way the man's bending on his knees, you know. Oh, it cracks me up. Oh,
this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, this is why I want you to start on this one.
Nah. Ty, you start with this. Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, you're starting because you saw my tweet and then Flex and that got onto me because I said, I'm going to be real. I said that I've been a bit underwhelmed with Eriksen this season. I think this was before the Leicester game away. I thought that everyone was just getting a bit overexcited. And for me, the reason I say that is because we haven't had a midfielder that's very good on the ball in terms of technical quality and you know, good at passing and finds through balls and stuff like that. I felt like because we haven't had it for so long, people were sucked into Eriksen because, like, oh my God, we haven't had it. Like, he's amazing. But no, it's the fact that we hadn't had a player like that for so long. It was easy to please. He's been good. But I think someone like Christian Eriksen should be good for me because I think he's a player that, you know, has quality in the final third. He's proven in the Premier League. And when he comes back to United, I'm looking at him and I just feel like right now he's been overplayed. That's not his fault, but I don't feel like he's actually getting better as the games go on. I'm actually looking at him and I'm thinking, do you know what? If I had to pick 5 players in that Man United squad right now that need a rest, Eriksen is one of them. I think he's been overplayed. I think he's wasteful at times, but he is good on the ball at times. And he's good at getting out of tight areas when we're on a defensive transition and into the, you know, next phase of the pitch. I don't know. I think he's been good, but I'm not gassed like everyone else. I think he could still do a bit more, and I think he's quite lightweight sometimes. At times, I'm just hard to please sometimes. I'm just thinking everyone's a bit too excited because we haven't seen a midfielder like that at Manchester United for a long time. But he's still a good player. So
let me ask you, this. How high were your expectations when Eriksen's out? Considering a lot of people were saying he's better than Bruno, even though Eriksen's playing deeper and all of that sort of stuff.
I'll be real with you. I didn't expect him to start as many games as he has. I didn't expect him to come in and be like one of the first names on the team sheet in terms of the midfield. It's him and Casemiro. We know that. That's what it is. I thought he was brought to be a squad player. And to be a squad player and get him on a free, I thought was sensational. That's why we needed the De Jong, because we needed Casemiro and maybe De Jong together. That'd be our first choice in midfield. Eriksen can start some games. Eriksen could come off the bench some games. That's what it was. Unfortunately for us as Man United fans and Eriksen, he's been thrown into the deep end and he's starting for Ten Hag every single game because we don't really have the quality other than Eriksen on the ball. So for me, Eriksen's been good, but did I expect him to be as he was? Yeah, I did. But do I think other fans are like overhyping him or thinking the season is better than what he has? I do think they have. I think they need to like calm down a bit, because I think as the season's gone on, I don't think he's been as effective as the games keep wearing on. He needs a break.
You know, I think
What do you think about this
United
comment
fans-
quickly? Ty, you.
Martial, when he plays, look at the stats, look at the contribution to the team when he plays. Injuries, I get it, but if man's injured, what can I do? Man's injured, but when he plays, he's playing well.
Interesting. Go on, Biz.
Yeah, do you know what? I think most United fans would have Eriksen in above expectations. For me, I'd just have him in meeting expectations. I didn't expect him to have as much minutes as possible as he's had so far. But for me, I think he's had a better. I think for me, I've seen him better when he's come on and changed the game. Like, I think what game was it he came on?
Villa.
And I thought, Villa, yeah. And I thought, rah, you know what I'm saying? You done your thing. Starting, he has been a bit hit and miss at times. But I just think overall, like Ty's been saying, innit, because we haven't had that type of player for so long, you know, when you see them come and, you know, they can, obviously they've got great distribution, you know, they've got a final like edge to them as well. You know, I think people get a bit too giddy too early, but for me, like obviously, I always rate Christian Eriksen as one of the highest midfielders, but I'm up there with the David Silvas, and like he's of that ilk of the Premier League era of the last decade. But for this United team right now, this season so far, I think it's just meeting expectations.
I agree, meeting expectations.
Yeah, we've overplayed him at times, but you know, like hopefully in the second half of the season, he does get his minutes, but we don't have to rely on him as such.
Make sure you guys like the video as well. I'll be honest, I'm like in between meeting and below, just because of how high people were talking about Eriksen.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Fair play, man.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been relatively fan of Eriksen's performances in terms of, listen, he's been all right, kind of thing, innit? But you see the way people were talking about Eriksen at the start of the season, I bought into the hype. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting this guy to be better than Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying he's a tier above Bruno. For me, they're the same tier. Which is why I'm gonna say meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Amad Diallo, forget him. Ronaldo, I'll start. I'm not gonna lie, this is disappointment of the season.
Oh,
It has to be.
You woke up.
Yeah, shut your mouth, this guy, man. Let's not lie, this is disappointment of the season. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. You expect him more than 3 goals? Like, don't get me wrong, I expected him to kind of, his performance levels kind of decrease this season. He's another year older. But come on, man.
Bains, man. My respect for you's gone up, bro.
It's been bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been bad kind of thing, innit?
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought you were going to have him in below expectations.
So did I.
Disappointment of the season.
I'll be honest, I was tempting. It was, I don't know. We'll get onto the other play that we think could be later kind of thing.
But yeah, let's talk about Ronaldo, Bains, man.
Of course you want to hear.
No, it's good, man.
No, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
For me, listen, we all rate Ronaldo differently. I rate Ronaldo a lot higher than everyone else, clearly. For how high I rate Ronaldo, it's been disappointing. Because towards the end of last season, I said he was finally learning how to play that sole number 9 role. The low number 9 role. He's perfect towards the end of the season. His link-up play was scoring goals. This season has been a shadow of that kind of thing, isn't it? And I always say, I don't really judge Ronaldo by link-up play like some other people kind of thing. I judge him putting the ball in the back of the net. In the Europa League, he hasn't done that to a good enough level. In the Premier League, I think he's got 1 goal, 2 big chances missed. That's kind of fine, but in the Europa League, he has been disappointing kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's had
in terms of his finishing.
Yeah. Nah, do you know what? I respect it. I'm not even going to do the banter thing, man. I just think, do you know what? I'm going to be real with you. I was watching a compilation on Ronaldo. Obviously, I'm a bit older, of course, so I was watching a compilation of Ronaldo like back in the day, and then the music that was playing with it, and it's quite sad, man, because a lot of people that are younger won't be able to see what I saw. No, real talk. They won't be able to see what I saw. Honestly, do you know how grateful I was to be able to admit that I saw that Ronaldo for my football club? Like, I'm actually grateful for it because he was dynamite. And to see him come back because he wanted to try and make an impact. Ferguson said, obviously, getting in his ear, don't go City, and he wanted to be part of that change. But if anything, that move's done more worse than good to him as a player and more worse than good to the club. He's just not the player he once was. And I think he's struggling to understand that personally. I think he hasn't come to terms with it, that his body is not the same as his head anymore. He's not a first-team player anymore. Manchester United are finally moving in the right direction, but it kind of seems to be without him. And I just think, you know, that's played a part in his head. He got a psychologist in. This is Ronaldo, one of the most mental tough players ever in the world football. And he's just missed chance after chance in the Europa League when you think of tap-ins. You know, he's had assists that he's put on the plate for people they haven't scored, but then it doesn't go towards his stats. Like, he's had everything go against him, but it's down to him as a player. He's had chances. He's had chances to play. He's had chances to start games. He's had chances to improve. He's had chances to impress. No one's threw him under the bus. No one's like shunned him out or then played in one game and said, look, you've been crap. He's had opportunities, and unfortunately, he hasn't taken it, man. And this is the end for Ronaldo. I don't want to see him wearing a Manchester United shirt again, respectfully.
I will talk on that a bit later, kind of thing.
Yeah. But
all I'm saying, Ronaldo remontada in the World Cup.
What?
Ronaldo remontada in the World Cup. We're winning.
I hope for your sake that, you know what I mean? I hope for your sake it's true. But yeah, Ronaldo, this whole move has not worked out. And like I said, I never wanted him back in the first place, and I'll stand by it. But I'll put him in disappointment of the season. However, we'll talk about it longer, but I think there could be two in this.
Yeah. Big up, Ben.
Big up, Door, man.
Go on, Biz.
Yes, I'm just going to mirror exactly what Ty's going to say, man. Like, for me, below expectations, disappointment of the season. I'm not sure if I can have him there because my expectations of Ronaldo had dropped from midway through last season. And I was one of the deluded ones as well. When he signed, I was so happy. 2003, when he first come to this club, he wowed me in his debut. I was really annoyed with him for the first 18 months after. I just didn't see what he brought to the team. But then he just matured. He became a man in 2006, and I just loved him. Loved him even more when we won the league. And loved him even more after that when we won the Champions League. And he became Ballon d'Or winner. And when he left in 2009, I never got over it. I never got over it for a good 5-6 years. And then I just realized that he ain't ever going to come back home. And when he did come back last year, it was just like, oh my God, like, I know fans that went to the ground and said they were in tears seeing him back out at Old Trafford. And I feel that as well because, you know, I didn't think it would ever happen. And he did come back. And it's just a shame, bruv. It's not worked out. And again, as much as obviously the situation we're going to discuss a bit later on, he shouldn't have probably have done. I do have to put a large bit of blame to the ownership because the last decade we keep trying to find this superhero to come and save the day and cover all the blind spots that have been happening, and it just hasn't worked out, man. And again, Ronaldo is another number that's added onto the list of, you know, your Alexis Sanchez, Lukaku's and stuff. It's just a shame, bro, how it's going to end. And yeah, so far this season, he's just not been even a quarter of the player that he has been over the year. You know, like he just can't finish. He's just not involved in the game as such. I do think sometimes he tries too hard and then he's out of position as such. And, you know, it is sad to see, bro. It's sad to see. I've said some things that I probably shouldn't have said about him, but, you know what I'm saying? As a fan, you get frustrated, innit? But, yeah,
so you got him below. Ty, you got him disappointed.
I'm going to go below as well because I feel like my expectations dropped even when he signed. I knew it was a bad move. So did I expect anything more from him than what he's given? No. Unfortunately for Manchester United fans, he fired out the hard way.
Rashford. I'll be honest. I'll go first. I thought him finished. I thought he was done at United. When the PSG rumours came, I was like, sell him.
Wow.
And you know what? Fair play to Rashford. I hold my hands up this season. Looks rejuvenated. Defensively, when he's playing out wide, he helps out. He's not walking on the pitch no more. Fair play to Rashford.
He's happy again. He done that interview and he actually said mentally he wasn't in the right place. Not a lot of players can come out and do that. So I respect him. Obviously, he went through a bit of a tough time. I'm going to say above it. I feel like I want to say above expectations, just based on the profile that he is, just a Heung-min Son type of running behind. Ten Hag likes his technical wingers, and Rashford's not the most technically gifted, even though he's okay. But I feel like Rashford's been very good in terms of, you know, when he's had to fill in up front, he scored big goals against Arsenal. He got assists when we've needed to. And on the left, I feel like he has made an impact. And when he doesn't play, I feel like I feel it, to be honest. So I'm going to put above expectations. The reason I would never have sold Rashford is because when I look at Louis van Gaal, Dutch coach, of course, what he done to Martial when he brought him in and what he done to Rashford, he was a proper coach and he was finding something with them too, man. They were exciting. You could see what he was building with them. A proper coach that they've not had ever since. Mourinho is not a proper coach like that. Ollie's not a proper coach like that. Rangnick's not a proper coach like that. So I wanted both of them to get another chance because I know that there is players in there. We saw in that 1920 season when they were contributing so much to the team. So yeah, with Rashford, he's 25 now. He's starting to hit, next year, that 26 to 29, 30 period, he's going to be in his peak year. So I want to start seeing a finished article, but I believe Ten Hag can get him there, man. So I'm going to go above expectations because I didn't know how well he was going to do in a Ten Hag team. But I knew that with Ten Hag and the coaching, he would be effective if we get it right, and we're getting it right, man. So I'm happy to see it. Do you know what? He's such a unique profile with his pace and stuff in our squad that I'm glad to see him doing well, man.
And this is another thing as well. No, I'll be honest, I was like, there's no chance of going to the World Cup.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Well, he's got that place back. He's the number 11 again for England. Fair play. Biz. Rashford, because you actually stopped by Rashford, didn't it?
I've stuck by him the whole time, brother. For me, I'm going to say meeting expectations, brother. This is what I expect from Rashford. Like, he's a mature kid. You get me? Like, I've always said, like, from when he come through to the team, when he's like 17, 18, and listen to him talk when he does interviews. He's not like any other 17, 18-year-old. Like, he's very well-spoken. You never really see him get out of line. I think early last season, obviously, you could tell the frustration was kicking into his performances and stuff. But I always think, bro, he's got the determination to just keep going. And I think we done like a show on who do we think is gonna like go the furthest out. I think Sancho, number 11, and Rashford. And I put Rashford just for the fact that I just don't feel like anything. Like I don't think he's scared of anything. You get me? Like he took a penalty in the final for England. He missed. Cool. Didn't quite bounce back as such, but this season he's showing that literally, if he goes to the World Cup again, he will step up and he will take a penalty.
Do you know what, Bains? Like, Bains might have a point. Like, we're saying above, but is he really above? Because Rashford, when I think about it now, like the last 3-4 years, Rashford has always been getting maybe like 15 goals and assists, whatever, plus the last few years. And he's not been amazing. Obviously, he's had a shoulder injury, and I get it, and he's played through the pain barrier and stuff. But is this not what we expect from Rashford in terms of performances, goal contributions? We haven't scored loads, but is this not what we expect from Marcus Rashford? Like, is what he's done so okay? What he's done so far this season, is that enough to say above expectations when we look at every game?
Like, this is the way I look at it. When you're comparing him to 1920 Rashford, I don't think he's better than that version just yet. But the version that I've been seeing of Rashford over the last couple of years was a player that I thought was soaking on the pitch. A player that did his head just weren't in it kind of thing, innit? And I said it. I thought he was heading down the Dele Alli path in terms of you were the guy at one point and you weren't. You kept declining, and eventually Dele Alli's career has gone. He's struggling at Beşiktaş or whatever they're called. And that's where I'm like, from my point of view, where I thought Rashford was heading to where he is now, where I'm like, I can't see a Manchester United starting 11 game without you. You're one of the most important players in terms of what you bring. I never thought I would be at that stage with Rashford at this point, which is why he's above for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's tough. I'm torn. Biz is going meeting. Bains is going above.
I understand the above because you see last season the drop off was mental, bro. So I think about 30 goal contributions to only getting about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
That's a massive drop off. Yeah. I understand if you're gonna have him in the above. So
let's go above. Balances it out a bit as well.
Pick up Zeeks as well. Yeah, this is going to be interesting one now. Jadon Sancho. I had Ronaldo in my disappointment of the season. The other contender was this guy right here, Jadon Sancho. Because for me, I think I said at the start of the season, I had him as my player of the season for United. My expectations were very, very high for Sancho. Second season,
especially the pre-season, he had the excitement you thought.
Second season, I wanted him to step up, kind of thing. And let's be honest, you haven't.
Yeah, man.
It's difficult to watch him like this because I think like where I say Rashford, like I feel like he can bounce back from anything. I just don't feel like Sancho can. Like I think the World Cup the Euros missing the penalty that definitely hindered him. Took a long while for him to find his feet at United. He had some decent performances the last season, but again, it wasn't enough. Pre-season, he looks absolutely outstanding. The thing is, he was playing on the right. You could see him and Dalot was building some chemistry between each other. And then the season starts and he goes back into his shell. And then he has a couple of decent performances here and there, but for the majority, it's just been a stinky season for him so far. And, you know what I mean? Like you're watching the likes of Saka and that just smash it. and I think Sancho's better than Saka all day long. But it's just the output is just not. It's just not up to scratch, man. And for real, he could be competing for disappointment of the season, man.
It's sad, man, because do you know what? I feel like there is a player in there, but while we're playing the way we are right now, he's always going to suffer. I don't think he's a very good ball carrier in terms of length of distances. Sancho is very effective when getting the ball in and around the penalty box, tight areas, little 1-2s, can isolate a wing back and then take him on over 5-6 yards. But when you look at the players like Son, the Rashfords, the Sakas, the Martinelli, St-Maximins, Phil Foden's, even Jack Grealish, they can all run with the ball for lengths of periods. And Sancho doesn't seem that he suits it for me. You can really tell that he come through the Man City Academy. And maybe if he was at Man City, he might be looking at a different player. But I feel for him because I feel like there is a player in there. You can't question his ability. You know that he's got technical ability. You can see it. There is talent in there. But right now, I'm looking at a player that's lost his place to Garnacho now in the squad. And I'm looking at Marcus Rashford and Garnacho as the 1 and 2 in the wings. I know it might be early to say with Garnacho, but at least Garnacho's coming on with intensity. He's impacting games. He's showing that he wants to be there. When you're going to a game and spending 45 to 60 quid, or you're spending 90 quid a month for Sky, or you're spending whatever in your box thing, when you're chatting after the game with your brethren, or you're chatting with your family at the dinner table, you're saying, raw, that Garnacho kid, you're talking about him. Sancho's not giving you nothing to talk about. There's nothing there. There's nothing tangible. And I think, you know what, the only saving grace I can have for Sancho, and it's not going to work, but he played on the right wing for pre-season, and he was effective there. Rashford on the left, Martial central, Sancho on the right. That's where he could have a position because obviously it now enables him to think. He can go out, he can come inside and link up with Bruno and stuff like that. However, we've signed an 85, 90 million pound Anthony, who is getting better every game. He's not going to take Anthony's place. And I think Anthony matches the intensity of the Premier League. He's getting better. So for me, with that lack of explosive pace, like Charlie's saying, and the way we play right now, we're not a Ten Hag side where we're pinning teams back. I think he's going to struggle still when the season comes back and he's there, man. And it's sad to see because I do think he's a very good player. But for us right now, it's just not working.
Fair. I think this should be easy on Elanga, meeting expectation.
Black Daniel James shouldn't really be at the club. Lovely guy, very educated.
No, but I don't think like we rated him like.
Yeah, I don't rate him at all. So I put him wherever you want to put him. No offense, Langa, lovely guy, man. I'm sure you are, but I don't think you're that great at football.
You know, with Sancho's situation,
Anthony Martial.
Sorry, 1 second. Do you see with the Sancho situation? That when he comes back, would you just play him on the right from now on instead of playing him off the left? Because I think
and him and Anthony just like rotating that.
Yeah, because I feel like that's where he's had his best moments for United. He's been off the right.
It's been on the right, isn't it?
Off the left, he's just not. He ain't really got it, man. I feel like him and Dalot are really starting to build something, and I feel like he's more comfortable on that side. And I do think probably with Tony coming back, that should help him a lot as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, in terms of profiles, it probably makes sense. Sancho, Anthony can be, Rashford, Garnacho can be on the left.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. 100%. That's a better balance there.
That's balance, yeah.
Big up 8010, he said Garnacho's gigs 2.0. Trust me. We're going to get on to Garnacho as well, innit? This one should be interesting, Martial.
I'll start because I love him. And everyone knows I've got the pillow, I've got the top. Below expectations. Same. And the only reason, and by the way, I love Martial. I think if we keep fit, if he stays fit the rest of the season, guys, don't worry. He's going to be amazing. Like, I love him, man. I love what Ten Hag believes in him as well. I'm going to say Martial below expectations because the injuries have come back again, which has hampered him. 2 starts in the Premier League. Very good pre-season. I think 2 starts in Europa League or even 1 start. But when he's played, he's been very good. Like, he has been good. Apart from I know the Fulham game was quite tricky, but he's getting his fitness back. But he's been very good. Like, you can see he's very important to the system. So, because of his ability and how much I rate him and how important I think he is to this Ten Hag team, I'm putting below expectations. If we can keep him fit, get him available, the next time we do this, he won't be in below expectations. He'll be meeting or he'll be above because I really believe in this player. But yeah, like I said, he's just not been available enough. So below expectations based off that. But when he has played, I really liked his effectiveness and his ability to make the team and others better.
Yeah, I'd have him below expectations as well. Just for the fact that, like, you know, when you watch Arsenal now and the difference they have with Gabriel Jesus, I feel like him and Jesus are very similar. Jesus is probably a little bit more aggressive and will get in your face a little bit more. But I think Tony, like, on the ball as well, just give us a different dimension in the final third. And we've missed that massively this season. And, you know, him not being available was just, it has cost us I mean, I think we've had 14 wins in the last 20, 21.
Bro, Biz, I said it in
So,
the chat
like,
when everyone, we would have beat Newcastle. We would have
yeah,
beat Brighton at home.
No,
We
you
could have beat
wouldn't.
Chelsea. It could have been 8
I think
points
we would
more.
have, bruv. I think definitely the Brighton game would have been a completely
Brighton and
different
Newcastle,
because
we beat. Trust
Nah,
me.
man. Like you were saying 9-10 points better with Martial starting. No
Yeah,
chance.
7 points guaranteed.
I think we definitely go into the Brighton game in more high spirits. I think like
it
that
killed
Brighton
us.
game was
It
just a
killed
joke.
us. It killed us.
Eriksen, like false, like we didn't know what we were doing. Like everything we had practiced in preseason had just been absolutely just thrown in the bin because Martial got injured 3 days.
Do you know
before.
what? Yeah, if you had to say to me, pick one player, we were doing a stream saying pick one player you're excited to see in the second half of the season. It's him because we haven't really seen him. Like I can't wait.
100.
Yeah,
Maguire.
Oh,
I'm gonna say below because I thought we would have played a bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna say below as
Yeah.
well because I'm not one of these like guys that's just go, oh my god, shit, man, bro. He's actually like on his day, he's actually an all right centre back. Let's be real, innit? Like his first year at United, if he can like bring that back, he can be a squad player. Not gonna start, but he can be a squad player. But he just hasn't got back to even close to those levels at all, man. Every time I watch him, he just not scanning, not checking his mirrors and seeking out any danger. It's just, on the ball he's not too bad, but off the ball, man, I do worry about him massively, and I worry about him for the World Cup as well. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him.
Up against some pace as well when he gets in the deeper rounds.
Yeah,
below expectations for me, Bains as well. I don't think he's got a future at the club like Lindelof. Simple as that for me.
Anthony, I think meeting. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because he's been. Obviously, last couple of weeks have been frustrating.
I'm excited,
with
I'm excited by him. I feel like he's getting better every game, and I like to see that. You could tell that he's adjusting to the Premier League. The intensity, the aggressiveness is there. I can't wait to see a front three of Martial, Anthony, and Rashford together because we haven't seen it yet, apart from 20 minutes against Everton. I think that's our best front three on paper.
Casemiro meeting because we all rate him.
He's class. Yeah.
Do you know what with Casemiro was like brought to my attention is the fact that I feel like he can score in every game. Man gets himself into some sick positions, man.
Hey, bad boy runs into the box.
Man. Them runs into the box, but especially his first 3-4 games. When I was like, right, how have you not scored? The Everton away game, I think Sociedad at home and 0-0. Man. Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant, man. Just what we've missed for so long.
And Garnacho, I'll say above, just because I did not expect this transition to first team football to go this move.
100%. I'm not saying, oh my god, like he's the next amazing thing, but what we're seeing right now from his step up, I'll be honest with you, I'm quite harsh on him. Biz knows, like I don't really get on the hype too much as a lot of people. I'm quite hard to please, but you know what? He's coming with the intensity. He's impacting games. He's making me think. Do you know what? There's something in you, man. And he's fearless as well. And do you know what? The most impressive thing for me, which I don't think anyone clocks, his ability to hug the touchline. The amount of times we're on the right-hand side attacking and that crossfield ball comes over to him, he controls it, and he's 1v1 with the defender. We don't really have that. And since he's come in, he really gives us that width, man. And I think, you know what? As a tactical mind for a 17, 18-year-old, I think he's a baller, man, because that's stuff you pick up on as he develops, man. He's already got that at 18. So, yeah, I'm excited to see him grow under Ten Hag, man. And he's impressed me more than I expected when he's come in.
Yeah, man.
That's our list. Let's quickly talk about the Ronaldo thing yesterday. Called out the Glazers by name. I'll be honest, that did catch me off guard. Like I knew he was gonna mention them, but I didn't know he was gonna mention them by name. How was your reaction yesterday?
Hard one, boy, man. I feel like for all parties, it's kind of a good thing. I think Glazers, they get their recognition, whether it's good or bad. So obviously, it's PR for them. Ronaldo probably gets to say what he wants to say, and obviously gets what he wants in the end, and that's a move away. Probably Ten Hag as well. He gets to just move on now with the job, and yeah, man, it's a mad one. I didn't expect it to happen this way. The only thing that annoys me about it is like you've gone and danced with the devil, like Piers Morgan of all people, man. You know this guy ain't got no.
Wait, why do people hate Piers Morgan? Like, I don't know much about him, kind of thing, innit? Do
you know what it is? I think like obviously he's linked with the Sun, and obviously the Sun newspaper it's just a trashy newspaper, especially in this country. And I just don't think he's got Ronaldo's best interest. It's just all about his brand. And obviously, and as an Arsenal fan as well, he's very open-minded about how he feels about Manchester United. So any way he has his opportunity to shit on the club, he will shit on us, bro. So he's loving it right now. And you get me? That's the only problem I have with this Ronaldo thing. Like, I like, obviously there's quotes and comments that have come out, but I need to see the full thing to digest it first. But it's a difficult one right now, man, for the club and for everyone. But I feel like everyone will be happy at the end.
I think this contract gets terminated. Like the fact that the club were looking at legal device yesterday, I think that's definitely happening, kind of thing, isn't it?
And I think he probably wants the same situation anyway, so it kind of makes it easier to negotiate that. I think if Ronaldo didn't want to go, then it's harder. But I think Ronaldo is kind of like, I said my piece. Let me go to the World Cup, and then maybe I can have a little break or whatever. But then they go.
That's what I said yesterday. Like, it's literally that interview was the best thing that could happen for every single party. Ronaldo's contract is definitely getting terminated, and by every single party, I mean like the footballing people that I care about. Ten Hag clearly don't want him. It helps United in terms of that overall like fiasco kind of thing around Ronaldo. But then, listen, man, I said it. You might not like Ronaldo. You might not like the messenger, but the message was clear yesterday. He came at the Glazers. The way the fans, whether people think that was for his like self-interest or not, that's a different story. He's called them out by name.
Yeah, I'm glad. You know what?
No one's ever done that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, not many players that are currently been at the club have done that, and I like it. I do. I commend Ronaldo for calling them out, because I think obviously there's no bigger player probably other than Ronaldo in the world that can call out the Glazers. So people will hear it, people will listen. However, the timing of what he said doesn't really, because if he's not been playing well, because he's called out the manager as well, and other parts that he said, little things that have winded up people, and then to say, oh, do you know what? The Glazers as well, because the message has been mixed with like people not happy with him, they want him to go, mixed with them what he said with the Glazers. I don't think it has the same impact. Whereas if he just sat down at the start of the season and done an interview and said, do you know what, the Glazers, this and that, when there's no rumors about him leaving or whatever, I feel like, yes, that has an impact. The fact that he's saying it because he knows he's on the way out, I think it's kind of an easy way to sort of, you know what, let me keep some people on side with me, because I don't know you know what I mean? You don't know the full ins and outs. So for me, like, Ronaldo knows that he wants to leave. Ronaldo's not playing well. He doesn't want to realize that. And obviously he doesn't really have respect for Ten Hag. But then to have a bit of saving grace, he'll call out the Glazers. Rightly or wrongly, what he's saying is probably a lot of it can be correct. We don't know the full ins and outs. But the bottom line is, I'm a Manchester United fan. Glazers are over there. Ronaldo's over there. Me, Manchester United, these fans of Ten Hag are here in the middle. We are building something with this new manager. We are all aligned for the first time as fans in what this manager is doing. We can see the progress in football. We can see where we could be in 2-3 years. We can see what he's trying to do with not contracts and giving them to people. We can see the ID profiles he wants in terms of the players. I'm focused on Manchester United right now, and I'm believing in what he's doing, and I love Ten Hag. And let me just say one thing. No matter what Ronaldo says or what any other player says, Glazers are not selling. Why would you sell the club when you've got your best manager since Fergie's come in, and you can see the way we're heading? It looks like better times are coming. If us three are the Glazers right now, are we selling the club when we can see what Ten Hag's doing? The answer is no.
No, but the way I look at it, do you think fans are going to put enough momentum in this Glazers outfit? Because
not from what Ronaldo said. No, the focus on what Ronaldo said.
No, but exactly. That's why I think that's a problem, because this is the biggest person you could have in the entire world from a footballing point of view to call out the Glazers.
Bro, but look at the situation Ronaldo's in. This is what I'm saying. He's not playing well. He's
exactly. But this is what I said.
But Bains, if we were top of the league and all that, and Ronaldo's playing, he isn't saying all that. He isn't.
No, but this is what I said. Like, even if you think it's for self-interest or not, he said what he said. As fans,
I think
as fans, people cry for Glazers out. You got the biggest momentum you could have now with a player coming out and saying it. Cristiano Ronaldo, all people saying it. Even though he's gonna leave, fans could easily make a statement right now. You could easily,
Bains,
but every single fan is not listening to it because of the 10R comments. And don't get me wrong, for me, that overrides everything, innit? And that's why I said Ronaldo's contract should be terminated.
There you go. I could go on.
That the message was still there, kind of thing, and I don't think that message should be overlooked because of the other message you said.
I get it. But the fact is, it will. This is a perfect way to look at it, right? Red Talk group chat, our group chat, United family group chat, United gang. There's about 6 I'm in, 7 I'm in. I've been in group chats and there's not been much outroar about what he said about the Glazers. A couple have actually raised it more, big up Usman and all that, but they've raised it more, said, look, we're not listening to what Ronaldo's saying, blah, blah. Finally, a big player's calling that. But that's like one group chat and like 6 or 7 or 8 Man United chats them in. So it just shows, not even me speaking, I'm just reading chats, that the message what Ronaldo said hasn't been delivered or had the impact it has, or he wanted.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
I think, you know what? I feel like it will more once the interview has been fully digested.
Yeah, well, it's out tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think once he leaves, actually, not once he.
Yeah. See, again, the timing is probably wrong. I feel like this should have probably come out after the World Cup, because I feel like you've distracted. All right, well, we ain't got no games till December, but now you've distracted your Portugal teammates now. So like, I feel like this is where the timing's just gone wrong. And
but do you not think for Portugal it could be perfect in terms of all eyes on Ronaldo? The rest of the players should play your game.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, could be.
Hey, by the way, the Ronaldo Bruno thing, the Ronaldo Bruno thing, there was nothing in that. If like, I don't think people realize, Bruno, like, if people think Bruno was rejecting Ronaldo, but he shook his hand. He shook his hand. So you're telling me Bruno got shook straight away?
Tried to show another clip of them two in training, like, looking at each other. Like, why are you going to be looking at each other dead in the eye when you're in training?
It sells, man. It gets clicks.
Yeah, but anyway,
it's going to be interesting, man. You know what? There'll be no bigger comeback. There'll be no bigger comeback than Ronaldo winning the World Cup. Wow.
It's coming.
Wow. I would be nice for him, man. It would be nice for him.
Honestly, how he does it, crazy.
Make sure you're liking the video, guys. Make sure you're subscribing to Statman's channel if you're new. Make sure you subscribe to Trafford Tunnel. I am actually saying it from 20 when the World Cup's over and the Premier League starts again. Regular shows, man. We've got to do at least 3 a week, man. Me, Haj, Bains, Biz, Safa. We need to just get on it, man. Even if we do 3 shows a week, so I promise you we want to do that. We're having a break at the moment, but Never a Foul. Make sure you subscribe to Never a Foul, guys. That channel is going to have all our World Cup content on the way to 6K. So make sure you're over there. Content this week. Me, Bains are there on Thursday, 5 o'clock. We're doing a World Cup draft, 1 player per team. It's going to be a 6-show. Saeed's joining us. So yeah, please subscribe to Never a Foul as well, man.
Just quickly on this comment here, all this talk past 2 days was of 3-minute footage. I'll be honest, I think we've got the hottest bits from the interview. That's just my honest opinion. Surely
there's more coming out at 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll see.
Yeah, but surely that Piers there's more the biggest things.
Little clip at 10 o'clock or something.
So I know he does it.
Man, I'm gonna have to dip. I'll let you, man. I'm gonna have to dip. Is that all right?
Calm down. Yeah. We're wrapping up anyway. Biz, anything else you want to say?
Nah, nothing much, man. I'm just saying that I know obviously Ten Hag and Piers Morgan obviously dropped a little footage yesterday at 8 o'clock. So obviously he's doing one at 10 tonight. I'm gonna check for that. But yeah, man, I think we just have to just wait in it and just swallow the pill tomorrow. Obviously the first part and then the second part, but it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying, bruv? It's not as deep as man are making it out to be. It's just probably the wrong timing. That's all I'm saying.
Calm. Listen, big up everyone for watching. Make sure you guys like the video, comment your thoughts on the player ratings. I'm going to have them on the screen here. And subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back soon. Big up.
Like and subscribe, people. Come on.